Do you have a
Okay,
studio?
so we are going to
Studio
start the
nearby?
class today.
Yes.
I think we are being live streamed, so that is started. So I'd like to get started. Welcome to the class. Today I'm planning to do some a few different small watercolors, you know, and uh, they're very fundamental, and I hope you enjoy it. So I'm going to switch my camera and I'll show you my palette. So I have prepared this, I have my primary colors and I also have some of the secondaries, and I have two different blues, ultramarine blue and cerulean blue. But you can also use something like this, like a watercolor palette, where all the colors are already there. So um, whatever you have is going to be okay. And I have a few different brushes here today. So try and get a few brushes near you. I don't know if we'll use a pencil, but I have one near me. These are my brushes today. So I have a few small ones, size 0 or 1. And then I have many flats, like size 2 flats, and then I have a few rounds. Yeah, so a variety of brushes. And I also have a bigger brush in case I want to cover a larger area. Yeah, those are my supplies for today. And I'm going to start with a very small wet on wet technique for those that are new to watercolor. So the wet on wet technique is I wet the paper with water. And then I would like to add some analogous colors, greens and blues. All right. So I'll go and do that now. So I'll drop in some of the colors and see how it mixes on the paper. I'm dropping in some blue now.
Hey, Mara, I didn't have green. Which color can change for green?
Sorry?
I didn't have green color.
You do not have green color? You can mix with blue and yellow.
Blue and yellow. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm just dropping in a variety of colors and letting it mix. I like to see how the watercolor flows also. Watercolor has a very flowy nature, so it's kind of fun to see all that happen. So I have green and blue in this paper, right? I'm going to keep the center a little bit not too colorful. It's almost white in the center. And then I'll come and get rid of some of the water from the paper. And you can also remove watercolor from a paper by using a paper towel. So I'm going to try that now. Just use this to kind of create texture. Remove some color from the paper, and then I'll come and dry it. I'll dry the paper a little bit. So give me a second. I'll put myself on mute because it's very noisy. So It won't take too long. Then I would like to paint some sort of a flower on top of it. So I'll mix some green and my blue, cerulean blue. So I have a bluish green color here, which is really pretty. And I also have the green that I was using. I will mix some yellow with it to make a very light greenish color. So I have two different colors mixed. And I'll come and just drop this greenish yellow color and create some sort of a structure here which shows it's a flower. Like a weed, more like a weed, right? That goes everywhere in summer. So my brush work is really loose. And then I'll come and drop in some of the bluish green that I prepared. Drop in some really dark color here and see what happens. It's fun to see how the color flows everywhere because some parts of the paper is wet. So if you just drop in the paint in the wet areas of the paint, it's gonna flow everywhere. And then I'll come in with a wet and clean brush, and I'll help this dark color to spread a little bit. Create an edge here or a little, little detail here and there. Okay, that's an example of a very simple analogous colors, blue, green, and violet on a blue and green background. So the way I did this was I wet the paper and then I dropped in some blue and green color. And then I removed some of the from some of the colors, and then I dry the paper. And after that, I painted a greenish flower because light green is the lightest color here. I start with the light and then I would put in some darker color and I finish it up with a touch of violet. Okay, so that's that. And then I also wanted to go over blending today a little bit. But if you want a few minutes, I can give you a few minutes. I can stop for a couple minutes. I can get started on this side. So I'm just going to do some leaves now and show some blending effect. So I will start with a very light green color. Actually, I need to mix some light green. I just put a lot of water, so it's really, really light. And then I'll do some of the green shapes. Okay, I hope you can see it. It's really, really light. So I hope you're able to see it. It will soon get very dark, so no worries. So these are just shapes of leaves that I'm doing it with the round brush, okay? Just putting in some very light wash of green. And then as that's drying, I will start preparing some of my green. And I'm going to take the green that I had before. It was kind of like a sap green that I had. And I'll mix a little bit of red into it, just a tiny bit to give it more warmth, like more warmer green color. See how the green turned more like a olive green here? Mix a little bit more of the green. So it's really, really nice, beautiful, rich olive green color. And I'll come and drop some of that into these leaves from one side, okay? This is a darker leaf here. And then these ones had light green color. I'm going to come and drop the olive green color onto that.
We don't see your.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. Now you can see it, right?
Yes. Yes, good.
Yeah, so, and I want to blend in some yellow into this. So I'll bring some of my yellow into here and gently blend it into the wet on wet background, which has green, right? In the background, two different kind of greens. So the way to create sharper edges on the watercolor is to watch how wet these leaves are, and I'll be very careful and I'll start creating my edge with a very thin brush. And I'll just See how beautiful that turns out? It's very simple, but you just have to watch it a little bit to make sure the consistency of the paint is correct, and the wetness of the paper is also has to be correct. So it takes a little bit of observation and playing with it. Yeah.
What color is that one? Is it the dark green?
I have light green and a dark green, and I prepared the dark green. Like I had one green color here, which is very bright green, right? And from this bright green, I am mixing yellow to get a light green, and I'm taking that bright green and put a little bit of red and a tad bit of blue to make an olive green. So I've run out of olive green, so I can do that. I've run out of both the colors, so maybe I can do that. So let me clean this one here, and I'll show you how I mixed my colors. So I have the the very bright green here. I take it in two different little spaces here, and then I wash my brush, and I take my yellow and I put the yellow into it. Now this one is very bright yellow green color, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then in the other one, it's very dark, it's bright dark green, right? I take a little bit of my red and I put that there, and see, immediately I get olive green color. So I'm neutralizing the green with its complementary color. So green and red are complementary color. If you take green and you put red into it, you're gonna get a nice warm green, but it's neutralized. It's not so bright green anymore. It is a little bit darker in tone, right? But if I take that bright green and I mix blue into it, I'm gonna get a very bluish green, or almost like a, see this one here, this had some blue here, right? And if I put my green into it, I'm gonna get a very dark bluish green. Now I don't need that much bluish green, but because I had some blue here, I just started mixing, and so I have a lot of bluish green color now, right? So maybe I can use that to maybe I can use that to do some of the stems of these leaves. But I'm being careful. I'm not going into those leaves because those leaves are very wet. So that's all you need to be watching, where the wet of the paper is, and avoid those areas. I can come and drop more olive green into these leaves. Maybe if I use a thin brush, I can maybe shape these leaves also a little bit more. Give it a nice round shape. Or maybe some of them are a little bit sharp. So this is like playing with the paints, and to learn how to mix colors. I have two kinds of green on my leaves, and I did the stems with a bluish green color. And now I think this part is a little bit dry, so I'll just do the stems a little bit more. Or I could use the dryer. I could just quickly dry it, but I'm done with this, so I'm not going to spend any more time on that. So I'll just let it dry on its own. Okay, so that was this one. I'd also like to, okay, so you can take a few minutes to work on it while I get ready. I want to do another kind of leaf now. And because I have so much dark bluish green, maybe I will use that color more. So, but I have to use a lighter color first. Although always in watercolor, you have to use a lighter color first, right? So I'm gonna wet my brush really nicely, and then I will take some of my bluish green, which is over here. This is a lot of water, all right? So then I'd go and start the shape of my leaves. So I'm going with my brush, round brush, I'm putting it down like this, and then I kind of put it all the way down, and I squiggle my brush around, make it nice and flat, and then I would come and pull the brush up over here, right? So that's the start of a leaf, and then I'll go and take some of my darker color, the same color, the bluish green color, and I would just do the stem here. And then I would come and drop in some darker blue-green color and see how that goes. There is always this opportunity to be surprised with watercolor. It may not go the way you want it, and that's kind of fun. Okay, it's looking very bluish green, so bluish, so I'm gonna put some green into it now. And then I may want to come and I may want to come with a clean brush, right? And you can lift the paint. See, this one I wet in water and then I dry it a little bit on a paper towel, right? And then I can come and I can lift the paint like that. Just a little bit, right? It's very wet. You can create textures on it by just the stems and everything. Like you can move your brush to remove the paint and create the texture on it. So we did these 3 so far. And you'll also see, you know, leaves that look like this sometimes. And I'll do that with a very tiny little brush. Not sure which plant these they are from, but they kind of look like this. And I'm holding my brush upright and going from the tip while doing this one. And I would go from the tip again and I'd press it down a little bit and pull it up. Again, I'd do that many times, right? So this and press it down and pull it. So doing these will improve your brushwork quite a bit. So try to do this kind of drawing with your brush and create shapes, right? So I'm going with the tip and I'm pressing it down and I'm pulling it towards the end and I'm pulling it up. And gradually I'm creating the shape such that it's kind of facing that way. It's the same movement. I'm pulling it up gently. I'm being really, really super gentle and just moving the brush along. And creating this design. That's another kind of leaf. Once I do that, I'm going to come and drop some green occasionally, you know, in various places. I could also drop some red somewhere near the top. And the red and the green is going to mix. So it creates a lot of very interesting color combinations and variety.
What brush did you use on that one?
I used this is a size 0 brush. But it's not flat. It's I would say this is a round brush. It gives very beautiful shapes. Like if I hold it upright,
Mhm.
I go like that. And then I can do another one if you're interested. So I'd go like this. And so pulling the brush to create the shape is very interesting. And it's important that we do these kind of exercises once in a while. It will improve your brushwork, you know. Do the drawing with the brush and not use so much pencil sometimes. It's okay. So yeah, the shapes may not be perfect in many cases. I think I mixed this one up a little bit. And then you can make it better like that. Okay, so we did 3 different kind of leaves for this exercise. I'm making my palette ready. I'm gonna create a nice purple color. And
Pam, what colors make purple? Please, thank you.
what color should we have?
What it makes color, red and
Yes,
blue.
yes, of
Purple.
course. Yes, red
Purple.
and red. Yes, red and blue.
Red
If you
and-
mix red and blue, you're gonna get purple.
Thank you.
So I'm going to put a little bit of water here. And then I'll take some of, you'll need, because blue, so blue has more pigment than red. Okay, so you'll need more red. More red. See, I took the red twice, right? And then I'll just dip my brush a little bit into the blue and there, that's it. That's all I need for making the purple. Just a tad bit, because blue has more pigment than red. So you need red twice of the blue. You know what I'm trying to say? But depending on the blue that you use, your purple could be different. So let me show that to you. If I take red, wash my brush, take the cerulean blue this time. See, my purple is a little bit different than the other purple. So depending on your blue, your purple could be different. This purple is made from cerulean blue, and this one I made from ultramarine blue. So the ultramarine blue purple is a bit, well, they're looking the same, but I feel like it is a bit darker because ultramarine blue is a darker blue, right? So yeah. So I made the purple. Purple is a secondary color. So if you have a red and a blue, you can make purple. Green is a secondary color. If you have yellow and blue, you can make green. And orange is also a secondary color. If you mix red and yellow, you get the orange. Okay. I'm going to remove the leaves. And I will bring together the flowers again. Second. I have some papers which are taped to a board, so I'm going to use that for the next flower. But you can just use a card like that. So I'll give you a moment to get ready. Yeah, you just use a bigger paper to do a few different flowers on the same paper, just as a practice. So I'm gonna now show the wet on wet technique for flowers. So it's kind of the same that I did before, except I did a green flower. And now I will do a red one, red and pink and yellow, okay? So I'm gonna just, it's hard to see because it's just plain water. So I'm gonna put a little bit of pink in there and see immediately how the pink spreads. It's very beautiful.
So wet on wet, right?
Yes. So I had some water here, and then as soon as I put in the red in here, it just created this beautiful, it spread around and then I started creating the shape of the flower. I'm just rolling my brush along a bit to get some water to the paper. And then I come with my orange and I put that over there and I'll see what is going to happen. I don't know what will happen. It will probably spread around and create shape that I will then take it and I'll make it into a flower. I'll take some of my purple. I could just create a shape like that and spread the water on it and just let the water flow and create the whorls of the flower like that. And I could bring my cerulean blue and create some kind of that came out very dark. So it's important to not take too much paint, right? Just take a little bit, but I'll take this one and lift some of the paint out. That was a lot of paint. So you can lift out paint very easily using a wet brush. See how easily the paint is coming out. And then I could make I'd like to make a pink flower. I'll take some paint from my palette here and see how that looks like. I have a magenta color here, and maybe I'll just create a flower, spread the magenta color around a bit, and then later on I'll come and put darker color. So that looks very beautiful. So that's magenta. That's a nice color. And then I can do one that is pink. Let me get some pink color and maybe create a shape like that. And then, so I'll come and work on them now slowly. Okay. And so I did all that. So that was the first layer. Okay. Now the first layer, I'd like to dry it. So give me a second. Let me try to dry this paper a little bit. Okay. Okay, so now I'll come with my thinner brush and I'll bring in some darker colors, okay, on the sides and make the shape of the flowers look like flowers. I'll also like to put in other colors into it. For example, I could put in some green. The paper is a lot, very wet, so I cannot go into many spots, but I could do in the while it's drying, I could try and do a leaf here. just a variety of flowers with a variety of colors, right? In a variety of colors. They're not the same flowers, so they don't belong to the same bunch. They are just different flowers. Done in a very loose fashion, right? And then I'll go and, work on them a little bit more. Just try to define them a tad bit more. Darkening the edges a bit. This flower I put in an orange center. Let that mix with the yellow just a little bit. So I'm going with a darker tone, right? So I started with the yellow, then I'm taking it up a notch and I'm putting in the orange. This one I'll bring in a little bit more violet color now. This one, the blue is coming in now, the darker blue. And I'll define some of the petals in the front. This one, I think, was the mauve color that I used from the box. I'll just try to do the center of the flower in this one with a darker, the center is darker in a flower. So I'm gonna just put in a little bit more pigment. Into the center. And probably I can use some of the violet that I did before. Maybe put that in. And put that into the center, but don't let it spread too much. Just be careful. If it spreads too much, just soak it up with the brush. And you can bring in some yellow also with the violet or with the mauve in the edges so that it looks very bright. Just near the top, I put in a little bit more yellow, a little bit yellow on top of the mauve color. To warm it up a bit. Okay, so that's one of them. And then I'll come and work on them later on. But this is just the first layer. I don't want to do one flower at a time, so I'm kind of doing them all. This is my second layer, right, for these flowers. So I'm gonna do another layer later on. But I'll probably need a little bit more time for that, but I'll get to it later on. So I'm putting in a little bit darker pink color here, maybe put in a little bit violetish color to kind of create the shadows. And if you notice in the flowers at the bottom, I'm bringing in more colors, right? So this was pink, but I'm bringing in some yellow here and I'm blending that into the pink, okay? So that's another way to do the flowers. So you can use multiple colors, right? To create the warmths and the cools. So that's that, right? And now I will work on these green areas, a little bit more with a darker green. So you can do that with your flowers. You can create some color variations in this foliage, in these leaves, right? I'd like to lift some paint from this first one. So you can do that. Once you put in some of your darks, you can lift some of the paint to show some highlights. I'm wetting it gently. And I'm coming in with a clean wet brush and lifting the paint a little bit to create some highlight areas. I'm lifting some paints from some of the flowers to create little bit highlights and to spread the darker paint into the flower. You could try a variety of techniques. You can do a variety of things because these are not hyper realistic flower. They are more like loose floral arrangements. So you can play with it and you can experiment with the watercolors this way. Giving it a yellow edges on this mauve flower. Let's see how that looks. Then I'll come in and do the center for some of these flowers. The issue is they're very wet, so I'm not able to move it along. And before I need to dry it, but yeah. So let me try lifting it from to dry it a little bit. Okay, that's good. So I'll come in with a little bit darker purple color now to do the center for this flower. Trying to create a little bit more detail on this flower with I'm using a size 1 flat brush, and I'm putting the color in, and I'll just blend it into the background and see how that looks, just to give it a little bit more detail. Define the petals a little bit more. So these are my 6 flowers that I did. I have a few, a variety of colors, you know. This one I want to work a little bit more. This last one here, I'm not getting the shape. Let me see if I can define it a little bit more. That was just an exercise in different color mixing and different colors, you know, how to start from the light and then gradually go to the darker colors. Okay. Do you have any question? So far.
I have a
some of-
question about the kind of brush because the brush that I bought, they're too what do you call this? It's very hard to manage the brush.
Yes. So watercolor brush could be a little bit difficult to manage because it's difficult to manage how much water it can take and how much paint it can take, right? So I would say start really easy and use a medium brush to start off with and use lighter paint to begin with and slowly build up your layers like we did today. You know,
Yeah.
if those are
But
watercolor
is there
brushes,
a
they will work. Yeah.
oh, even if they're the cheap types?
Um, well, I have some really, they're not very expensive brushes now.
What's the
Um,
brand name of those brushes?
This one is Creative Arts, but I think like a store like Michael's or any art store, they have good watercolor brushes. I have even used dollar store brushes and they're fine.
Oh, really?
But I can show you one that I bought from Amazon. It's I don't know what is the name of this. This is gold. It's called Golden. Okay,
Golden.
and it came in a set, and they're nice watercolor brushes.
Yeah, I think it's from Amazon. Amazon.
Yeah, and it has many different sizes, and I don't know where everything is because they all got lost, but now I have these two. But they had smaller ones and really narrow ones, so yeah. But I'm okay to use this. This is okay. Like you just have to practice a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
like I
thank
said,
you.
go really easy with don't take a lot
Mhm.
of paint and don't take a lot of water either. I think what I really like is using it like this, like in a palette, you know, because
Yeah.
then you can manage your consistency and your colors here. Whereas something like this, it's hard to manage the consistency. So I like to use, I like to prepare my palette. That's a tip I can give you that works for me.
Mhm.
I like to
Thank
use a
you.
palette like that. It makes it easier for me to mix colors and to manage my brush also.
I also had difficulty mixing the pink color, so I only have scarlet and white, and it turned out to be orange.
Scarlet and white made orange. You know, it also depends on the company of the paint. So, you know, mixing colors is an interesting idea, and some people would make a color palette. You know, color like a swatch of colors, right? So, what I mean by that is you would prepare you'd experiment how your colors are behaving. Okay, so you take, for example, I would take my yellow and like that, and I'll put in the red here. Right, and then I would, you know, come in with a clean brush, and I'll mix these two colors in between and see what kind of color I'm getting if I blend the two.
Mhm.
Okay, something like that. So you can experiment using what kind of orange you're gonna get if you mix those two. Let me do that again because I didn't take enough paint. So here, so if I take a yellow and I wipe my brush nicely so I don't have yellow left on my brush, and I take red here. This time I'm taking a lot more paint. And then I come in again with a clean brush. Oh, there was some black in there. Then I mix the red and the yellow, okay? And then I know what kind of orange I'm gonna get if I mix these two. Right? That's the orange that I'm gonna get. And then if so there is no surprise. And then if I take my yellow and I take the ultramarine blue that I have in my box, in my colors, right? In my tube colors, I'd put that here. And I'd want to know what kind of green I'm gonna get. So I'd mix the two. I would just, and I'll experiment what kind of, because different blues will give you different greens, right?
So how did you get the pink? Is it red and white?
I didn't get a pink. It's just so just 1 second. Let me finish the green. Just 1 second. So this is the green that I'm gonna get, okay, with this yellow and this blue, right? Okay, so this pink, so pink is a color that you get from red, right?
Yeah.
So if I take my red here and I put a bunch of white, I'm gonna get a pink. You see, this is kind of like a pink color because the white of the paper is your white. In watercolor, the white of the paper is the white. That's how I get the pink.
I see.
Yes? That's how I get the pink. And then the white of the paper is my white. So that's how I would get the very light blue, not mix white into it, but very diluted blue is gonna give me a very light blue in watercolor. And I just want to show you one more thing. So if I take the yellow here and I take my cerulean blue, which is another kind of blue, not this blue, but this one, and you'll see that the green that I'm gonna get is very different if I mix these two. The green is a brighter green.
Mhm.
Whereas this green was a very darker green, you know, like a sap green. Let me mix more color so you can see clearly. So this green is this olive green, almost sap green, you know. Well, olive green would be if I mix a little bit of red into it, but this is the green that I would get if I mix ultramarine blue and lemon yellow. And this is the green that I would get if I mix cerulean blue and lemon yellow. So I'll encourage you to practice these color mixings at home and get really good at it, right? It's very fun to do that. So if I now take my red, the same red that I used with the orange, if I take some red here, this is the last color I'd show. And then if I take my blue, ultramarine blue here, and then I mix the two. You always have to keep your brush clean. You're gonna get a violet like this. You always have to keep your brush clean when you're mixing paint like this.
Yes, or
Because if your brush is not clean and it has yellow in it, you're not gonna get the proper violet. So this is the violet that I'm gonna get. So these are the colors that you're gonna get if you do color mixing one day with the colors that you have in your palette.
Great. Thank you so much.
No
Now,
problem.
what kind of paper would be best for watercolor? Because we have different kinds of paper, the mixed media paper, the sketchbook.
300.
I use a 300 GSM cold press paper, and Hansen is a company that makes this kind of books, and it's
Mhm.
300 GSM, which is also 140 pound, and it's a watercolor cold press paper, heavyweight paper, right? So it gives a really nice, you know, and you can also do acrylic on it, right? It's very heavy, and I really like this paper, and I do a lot of painting on these.
So
And
300 GSM. I have the 300 G over M squared. Is that the
yes,
same?
that's GSM.
Oh, okay.
That's G whatever. So different people write it differently. It's
Okay.
300 gram. I don't know what it means. Maybe it's not sure what GSM means, but it's same thing as G. 300 G or 140 pound. It's the same thing, right?
Okay.
And cold pressed, right? So then you can have this brand, or you can get a variety of brands like, you know, Fabriano, then there is Strathmore, you know, those are all different brands of paper. And then I also have, yeah, I you can try different brands and experiment with them. But this 300 GSM cold pressed paper is very good for watercolor.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You have a website?
Yes, it's my first name, last name.com. So my website is this one. I'll write it here.
Pamela Day. Thank you.
And I'm also on Instagram. This is my Instagram. Right? And my email address is Pamela Day Fine Arts, ARTS @gmail.com. My last name is DEY.
Day, yeah.
Yeah. So my website is pameladay.com. My Instagram is Pamela Day Art. And my email address is pameladayfinearts@gmail.com. Feel free to contact me if you have any question or anything that you need help with. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so today was a lot of fun. We did a lot of things. Okay. And I hope you enjoyed it. So we did these flowers, and we also did these two. And I thought we did a leaf, but I don't see it anywhere. Maybe it fell down somewhere. Oh yeah, I see it now. Did a few leaves.
Can you show your
Unfortunately,
contact info again, please?
and then so these are the different things that we did a lot today. So you can practice many of these things if you liked it, right? So those are my leaves and all that. And then we also did the flowers.
No,
If you want screenshot, let me know.
We will take
Pamela,
Yes,
can you show your contact info again, please?
yes, sure. Just 1 second. I just want people to take the screenshot if they want to. This is one screenshot. Let me arrange it so that you can get it. Okay, hold on. Don't take the screenshot yet. Here is a screenshot.
another. Good job.
And then, can I move it now?
Yes.
Yes, everybody is okay. All right. So then I have also done this one. Take a screenshot like that because it will fit in properly. So those are the flowers I did. And you can practice wet on wet and doing those flowers at home. Okay.
So
And then I also did this one with different greens. Okay. You can also take a screenshot if you want. And we also did a lot of color mixing today. And we did all this today.
good. Thank you.
And this is my contact information right here. If you want to contact me, if you want to talk to me, you can always send me an email or contact me through my website. Okay. Yeah. So I can do one more painting now, but we only have a few minutes. So I would like to open up for question if you have anything. If you have a question, feel free to ask me.
Can you show your work?
Oh.
You showed us some a while ago. Just
I
quickly.
can show my work. I have many work. I have a lot of work on my website, but I can quickly pull up my my website very quickly. It won't take too long. So that's pameladay.com. Oh, you won't be able to see anything. Oh, here it is. But it's very let me see. Let me switch my camera. Just 1 second.
Is that watercolor?
No, I do watercolor, acrylic, and oil. So I have a lot of different medias that I work with. So 1 second, that's the other camera. Maybe that will be better this time.
Pamela, what about next week? Is the watercolor on? Also?
Yes, we are always going to do watercolor, and because there is a matter of finding.
Yes.
I'm not able to. I don't know if I can share my screen. I'm trying to use my laptop to go to my website, and I will see if I can share my screen through the Zoom. I'm not sure if I can do it, but I'll
You have to
try
be a host.
here.
That's okay.
Oh,
We
yeah,
can go
perfect.
to your
Okay, we can-
website.
Do you see it?
No,
We
you
can,
have to
Oh,
be a
sorry.
we can
host.
look
Share.
it up at
In
our
my
computer.
computer, yes.
Yeah.
You're sharing it now.
Great. So this is my
There.
website, and
Nice.
these are my artworks.
Uh-huh.
But they are all oils and acrylic, bigger artwork, these ones.
Yeah. Do you have a
Mm.
studio at your home?
No,
Sorry?
Do you have a studio your own studio?
Yes, I do have my own studio. So this is my studio at home.
Oh, at home. And do you teach?
Yes, I teach. I
Oh,
teach
you
at
teach?
my home studio. I also teach online many classes.
Oh, I see.
So these are my classes and workshops that I have,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you can get all the information from there. I teach in many different classes and places and galleries. And then I also paint outside. So these are my plein air paintings that I do outdoors.
Wow, nice.
nice work. There's landscape,
Yeah, I like landscape.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
landscape work.
we can
Yeah.
do more landscape.
And then I have many smaller artworks. That the other one, this one, these are very large artworks that I have. But then I also have smaller artworks, which is over here.
Oh,
Mhm.
very good. Yeah.
Is oil or acrylic?
These are oil acrylic and watercolor.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then I also do portraits and figures.
Oh.
And these are my work in charcoal and pastel.
Oh,
Mm,
that's good. Yeah.
Pastel. Yeah.
multimedia.
Are you in Dundas?
Sorry?
Are you, is your studio in Dundas? I just see Dundas. Hamilton, where? Close to where?
Hamilton. Yeah, West Hamilton.
West side of Hamilton?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Mhm.
These are done with pencil and charcoal and pastel.
Is
Mm.
real portrait?
This is watercolor.
Watercolor, yeah.
This is charcoal.
Yeah.
Charcoal, yeah, Celeste one.
So I teach portrait also to many people. I teach a lot of people.
Is real figures and portraits?
I
Real,
teach, yeah, figures and portraits, yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
But this takes a long time to learn.
Yeah.
nice.
But I
How
have
will? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I have done this since childhood, so drawing comes very easily to me, and I enjoy drawing, you know. And these are artworks that people have purchased from me. these are, these are artworks that I've sold many artworks. Many people
Mm,
have bought it. Many different
nice.
places, you know.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Yeah, so yeah, that's who I am. But see, these artworks, these are
Yeah,
very
did
big
you share
ones.
that
These are
exhibition?
That's a nice one. I like the water.
Oh,
So for the next session, what will be our focus, and what kind of preparations do we need to do so that we are better prepared for the colors?
so always have the
Okay.
colors that the primary colors. Always have your colors ready. Always have that, right? This or the other one. I prefer this color. But everybody is different, and we can also paint from something like this. That's not a problem, okay? And always have many varieties of brushes, right? Many different brushes. Everything that you can find, all the brushes, right?
Mm.
Always have paper towel. Always have a pencil, of course, right? And then a bunch of papers, you know, like watercolor papers, right?
Mhm.
And we are gonna do a landscape next time. But
Okay.
I feel like with the group, I need to do a little bit more basic things.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
feel that I'm moving too fast. So I'd like to cover some basics once in a while. Just, you know, techniques and basic things. So, but I think next time, because we covered a lot of leaves and flowers today, next time I think we'll do a flower painting.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay, you don't need to prepare anything. We will draw, and then I will draw, and then you can draw with me, and then we can put the painting together. So get your paper, if you can, get your paper with a tape on a piece of paper, on a cardboard.
Okay.
The
Okay.
stretched paper, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Is this kind of paper is good enough for watercolor?
Yes, that paper is a good paper. So you can take that and you can tear one page
Yeah.
and you can put it with a tape over here, like
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
With a, like this. You can just
Mhm.
tape it, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Good. Thank you so
Pamela.
much.
Thank you.
Donna and
Thank
Dee.
you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.